Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1510 of our daily content grind. So, today there's been a bit of a buzz amongst my Transformer friends over on Blue Sky, which you need to follow me there, because, yeah, screw Twitter. So, I've been following a conversation that has been going on revolving around some new Transformer statues that were announced this week, and, oh boy! Oh! We need to discuss this. So I decided not to include this in the news roundup because the news roundup's usually like a positive thing, everyone hates Mondays, the start of the work week, etc. I like news roundup to kind of focus on like the positive and fun things, like give us things to look forward to in the Transformers universe. I ain't gonna mix this in with it. I am not gonna mix in this with this does not deserve our positivity. I am here to deliver scorn. And I don't mean like a cool Dinobot. I just mean like straight up scorn. So, a company that I'm not sure how to pronounce. I'm going to go with Mbilia. No idea how close I am. I don't care either. So, they have announced that they are releasing some comic book edition limited statues of various Transformer characters. Specifically, they have them up for Optimus, Bumblebee, Megatron, Starscream, and Soundwave. And they come with like the usual stuff for premium statues. So limited edition comic book plate, collector card, character ID card, etc., etc. Luxury box that it comes in, etc. The problem here is that we are looking at something that is 35 centimeters tall, which is a little over a foot for us that use the Freedom units. So a little bit over a foot tall. Okay, nothing huge, Like some of them be good on a shelf, or potentially a top shelf of a desk if your desk has one. It is solid cast resin, is using automotive paint, and it's clocking in each one individually at $3,800. Almost $4,000 for one of these statues. Now, granted, it's limited to only 500. But still, 500 statues, $3,800. Okay. We will put a pin in those numbers. We'll get back to that at the end of the video, shall we? For now, I think it's fair that before we really get into any of the more interesting facts about this, let's go into detail about what exactly you are actually going to be getting. We begin where we should begin, which is Optimus Prime. And just to confirm, yes, this is directly from their webpage, $3,800. Ta-da! Doesn't he look great for your $4,000? Like, this is the automotive paint. Keep in mind, automotive paint is very, very thick. It has to be thick because it has to endure sun and wind and rain and hail and little pebbles getting kicked up at it. It has to endure for years, Like your paint job is expensive because it's a very, very thick, heavy paint. Not something you usually use on a statue because that's going to muddle a lot of the details and it's going to end up looking like this. He looks like he's made of crayons. He looks like he has been painted in ketchup. I mean, I love ketchup. Not to this degree. I don't want my Optimus Prime looking like that. So yeah, the statue's hideous. Let's confirm that right now. The statue is absolutely disgusting looking. Let's just cycle through some of the other shots of him. So by comic book edition, they mean that they have taken random panels from Marvel Comics and they have plastered them onto various parts of the design. On the legs here, it kind of just, I don't know, it looks like the red paint is wearing out and there's blue underneath from the previous coat of paint. It's not pretty. And you'd have to really know what scene this was to really be able to tell. Here, I'll show you the backside of him, and you'll get it then. Yeah, that's Game Over that is painted across his back. This is the scene where Optimus Prime blows himself up because he cheated to win a video game. This is one of the dumbest moments in Marvel comic book history, Transformer or otherwise. And yeah, I want that immortalized in a $4,000 gaudy piece of what, Okay, I'm getting a little bit too fired up. We just started the video. We're not that far into the video yet. But yeah, it's that scene. It's not a scene that's really wanted for Optimus Prime fans. They can't even get the base right because the Autobot symbol is missing the crest in the middle. So it's just blank up there. So we can't even get that right. Even that is wrong on this. Let's take a look at how Megatron turned out. Now, at least his comic book stuff comes across the front, and now you kind of have this, like this comic book artsy deco going on. Okay, fine. Still looks hideous in just the solid purple color, an iconic G1 Megatron color. Purple. We take another close-up look of him, you can see he is just as glossy and he is just as thick-looking as Optimus Prime. Do you have any idea how much you have to layer on paint for you to visibly look thick? It's meant to be flat. How does it look thick? How can I tell that it is thick? Speaking of thick, let me take a close-up of Megatron's face because his jaw looks like it's trying to escape from his skull. There are reasons for that. We will get into that here in a bit. There's a far better example. I know the people have already looked at all the discourse over these designs. I know you're already chomping at the bit. I know. Calm down. We'll get into it. And just to show on the backside, he's got a whole word bubble on the back of his left leg. That seems like poor planning to me. Let's take a look at Starscream, and hey, guess what? The lantern jaw look is just in with the Decepticons this year. Super hard jaw. I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, and you know what? Great choice. Great choice for Starscream. Super bright white. You're already losing a lot of detail because of this heavy paint you're using. Great idea to use a color that is also going to obscure and wash it out. Now, at the very least, his deco does cover like 50% of the front of him, so I will give it credit for that. At least it's well placed. Now, we are going to overlook the fact that his legs have the exact same deco with the exact same word bubbles, except on his right leg, some of the words have been removed for some reason. It's hard to tell because of all the turns and the motions in here. It would not surprise me if the rest of the word bubbles and designs that are on the front of him aren't just the exact same panel. Oh, but the better one is the back. Look at how much got spread to the back. Almost all of it. Like his back is almost completely covered with his comic book detail. You remember Optimus Prime had a little bit on his legs, some on his back, a tiny bit on his chest. Starscream is like 75% covered in this stuff by comparison. So if you actually like that design style, the Optimus Prime is screwing you over. Starscream is where it's at. But why would you put so much different detail on the back side of the statue, the side of the statue that 95% of the time you're not going to see, and then make sure the front of it looked so sloppy with all the reused images? And by the way, nothing tells me I'm getting a quality statue like Starscream's taint telling me you're grounded. Thank you for that. That's going to be burned in my brain for a long time. The one we have to discuss here is the sound wave, because this is where every little suspicion gets confirmed here. You're already thinking it. Some of you already are. Some of you already know where I'm going with this. Let's take a look at how Soundwave turned out. The first thing you're going to think here is, why is he holding a fusion cannon? It looks like it came off of Swindle. It might be Megatron's. It's hard to tell. But yeah, it looks like he's holding a fusion cannon, right? I mean, it definitely looks like a big end to the back, open, wide barrel. It's certainly not his traditional blaster, is it? Now, it gets a little bit more apparent what happened if you look at this angle. Well, where'd the rest of it go? Number one, now we have to contend with the fact that he has like a baseball cap bill over his eyes. That is an Optimus Prime detail from the original cartoon. That's not a Soundwave detail. Soundwave's never had that. But yeah, you can tell it's cut off here, but you'll be able to tell in other shots he's not even holding the cannon. There's nothing between the cannon barrel and his hand. So no, this is not his gun. This is supposed to be an arm cannon. This is supposed to be Megatron's cannon. If you haven't guessed by now, yes, these statues, these designs, are absolutely AI generated, and they took them straight up from the generation and just made them. Like, they didn't polish it or refine it in any way. And I'll show you, I'll point it out even more in a bit. Yeah, there's another side shot of it. And also you can start seeing like how sloppily the comic book style is here. A little bit on the chest, but then it's just like some on the back, some on the back of the legs. Again, you're never going to see it. Some on the side, the inside of the leg. Why? Why? I don't know. I know that he just has this superfluous can. He's got this old paint can that he somehow is deciding to balance while he has this like expended bullet shell balanced on his forearm. Okay, yeah, there's your comic book deco. Can you tell what scene from the comic book it is? I can't. But what gets me here, we need a close-up of this. We need a close-up. Take a look at the pelvis section. Oh my god. This isn't even attempting it. This is not even making an attempt. I mean, his hips are clipping through his pelvis. I mean that literally. Look on the right side. You see a little vestigial triangle on his left hip? That's just where like that part clipped through on the AI model and they just left it there? Seriously. $4,000, and I want you to point out in this shot, his hip is not even attached to his crotch. I don't know where his hip is attached here, but it's not where it's supposed to be. The Soundwave just came out so much worse than the rest. None of them are great looking. Like, even if you just want to look at those and go, okay, I guess that's an acceptable design for Optimus Megatron or whatever. Never mind the fact that Megatron's jaw is trying to become the Tick. But at the very least, okay, yeah, they're just fine. They're boring as sin is what they are. But at the very least, okay, they're passable. The Soundwave doesn't even come close. I mean, he's aiming half of a fusion cannon while also reaching for his eject button. Because that's Soundwave's thing. I still have no idea why he has a fusion cannon. So we're just gonna take a look here. Let's go to the website. Let's go to the website. Maybe we get a little bit of explanation here. Maybe they maybe they admit to some of this. So the website, if you go to it, is a mess. It's an absolute mess. It's extraordinarily repetitive. Every single page on there is going to show you the exact same statues, the exact same images, because they literally have done nothing else. They have a page that says legacy. And you know where like artistic statue companies would probably put like sculptors and designers that they have working on these projects, so you can go like, oh, hey, I know their work. They're really good. Nothing. It's just the same 5 statues that they've already promoted. They have no legacy. And then you come across little bits like this, which you come across any kind of site that's trying to scam you into thinking they're selling high quality stuff. More than a collectible, a piece of history. Limited to 100 pieces per character. This is massively misleading. The statues are limited to 500 each, and the only thing that's limited to 100 are the collector cards that are coming with each of the statues, but that's only the signed version. There's only 100 signed editions. The other 400 are blank. Who is signing these? It doesn't say who is signing these because obviously there's no sculptor involved in this. What? The guy who typed in the algorithm that actually made these things crap out of a machine. What, are you going to hook up an AutoCAD and get it to sign it in, sign it in binary, 011101. Get it to sign its serial number. That's the only thing. Like, the only one who created what has actually been shown in this video so far has a serial number attached to it. Or a source code. Yeah, let it autograph itself in source code. Here's another part I love. Every detail honored. Yeah, about that. About that. Oh, we want to talk honor. We talk about the promotional animations that are also on the website. The website that is further broken, by the way, with social media links that don't go anywhere. Here is a snippet from Soundwaves. And you can see he's got the same sloped-in head that the model has. He has no eject button. He has no play and rewind buttons on his pelvis. He still has the fusion cannon for some reason. He does not have his normal gun, nor does he have his shoulder cannon. This is almost far enough away for me to say, hey, I made a new Transformers OC. Do you want to help me name him? You know, it's almost that close, right? Because guess what? Of course, the animations are also AI generated, which means they are selling you something for almost $4,000 that is 100% plagiarized, and all the ad material for it is also 100% plagiarized. I wouldn't be surprised if ChatGPT also is the reason why you have so many of these fluff words all over the website. Yes, this section is solely to make fun of how awful AI is. Hey, I'm an artist myself. I have a lot of artist friends. Yes, I hate AI. That wasn't clear. Oh, by the way, if you're going to defend it in the comments section, you're going to get removed. So, let's actually take a look at some of the other wonderful masterpieces that their animation team have created, like this shot of Starscream in mid-transformation, where I assume he is attempting to turn into a failed attempt at a paper crane. Let's take a look at this shot of Megatron, who looks like what happens if Play-Doh comes to life and you electrocuted it. And then there's the transformation for Optimus Prime, where he's just literally birthing Prime from the front of the truck cab. Yes. Oh, yep, 2 grills. That's what I want to see. I also want to see the arms with the parts that are supposed to become the arms there. And yeah, I also want to see his back swallow the trailer whole, as if he had a black hole back there. Also, great looking head. Great looking head. Looks closer to Hot Shot than Optimus Prime. Good job, boys. Do you have any idea how many Transformer animators are out there? Do you have any idea how many of them have models ready to go who would have been thrilled to get some kind of work, a paying commission to actually get this done? This wouldn't have taken them too long. Oh, and they probably put Optimus Prime somewhere a little bit more sensible than the Mayan ruins. This is more and more absurd the more I look at it. Okay. Maybe I'm just being a little bit jumping the gun here, etc. What do the testimonies say? What do the testimonies say? Okay, so being a collector circle feels like having a private collection. So I have a collector circle thing where you just give an insider, which, by the way, is free now but going to cost money later. That's amazing. It's amazing. Allocations are stress-free and every drop arrives with flawless finishing. They just announced these things and they're the only things they've ever made. This is incredibly fake and incredibly easy to spot as fake. I collect across several brands and umbilical cord. Stands out. Clear communication, insured shipping, and pieces that keep their prestige. What prestige? They didn't have any to begin with. My favorite one is the one in the middle. From sculpting accuracy. Really? Do I need to bring up the sound wave again? Everything screams luxury. Do I need to bring up the Raspberry Jam Optimus Prime again? Team kept me updated. Certification authenticity is a classy touch. Unboxing felt museum grade. That is from a customer from Dubai, which tells me that, yes, again, this is fake because this company is from Dubai. So they didn't even have the sense to just name a different one. It just occurred to me, like, Milan, Italy, Los Angeles, USA. Like, nowhere just, like, from any random spot, right? It has to come from like 3 major cities. Like, if you want to spot fake testimonials, spot the fact that they come from very obvious places, you know? You never hear anywhere from like Hoboken, No one ever gives a testimony from Hoboken. So remember the little pin? 500 of these, $3,800 each, right? Okay, good on that? Okay. We're going to go back to this statue. And I don't normally defend this statue because this is a result of plagiarism. A far more talented artist created this design and they just decided to make a statue based off of it. And I don't think they gave him any credit or any residual whatsoever. However, I'm going to bring it up because this statue is 2 feet tall. A little bit higher, actually. Twice as tall as these statues. It is over 3 or 4 times wider than that statue. So we're talking about a massive piece compared to what this is. And you're talking that it's not made out of resin, it's made out of polystone. Polystone is resin with stone powder mixed in to give it more of like a statue look and feel. And it generally is more expensive than standard resin. Normal resin is kind of easy. Like they probably 3D printed one to make a mold. Just pour resin into said mold, run it through like a vacuum to get the bubbles out. Boom, you have a statue. And then they just take it into the back room and take the auto gun, like the car sprayer, and just spray the thing down recklessly. You can tell this statue, way more attention to detail, way more details, way better looking, way more effort put into this. This statue, so much bigger, so much better in every way, $3,500. And that's not even with the early bird thing. You could have gotten it a few hundred cheaper. The big thing to bring about that is there's only 250 of these. So you can't even tell me that it's, almost $4,000 because, well, there's so few of them. There's half as many of these Unicrons, that much bigger and that much cheaper. You want to keep going? Let's go to Prime 1 Studios. Their Jetwing Optimus Prime. This is a 3-foot tall statue. This is a 3-foot tall statue with LED parts, more polystone and LED, alternate parts. Like it's so much bigger and so much more detailed. And this is again a little bit cheaper than one of these awful statues that Umbilical Cord is producing. I mean, I could keep going. You want to spend close to $4,000 on a statue? Go get this one. Yeah, go get this Devastator. It's on Big Bad right now. Coming out very soon. $3,900. A little bit more expensive. It's 4 feet tall. It just doesn't end, does it? There is no aspect of this that makes sense. It's a broken website. They're AI-generated designs, AI-generated animation, no names, literally, nothing that actually says this is worth its price whatsoever. There is no pedigree, nothing. And this is where other people started digging. So, Dilophosaur ID over on Blue Sky. I'm not going to take credit for the research because, frankly, I don't have time to research, but thankfully people do. This studio has existed for about a month. Before then, they did not exist. These are the only products. All of it is AI generated, statues and promos. Some random location in Dubai. As it, the PO box address on site lease is some luxury area. Dubai is already the most expensive place on the planet. This is from one of the luxury areas. So, I can't legally state, and I don't want to put myself into any kind of legal entanglement by making some kind of statement as to what this looks like. But I will say as carefully as possible, I don't disagree with the idea that this could just be money laundering. Because it very much feels like it. I've never seen such a blatant scam in my life. I have to assume that either they paid Hasbro a ridiculous amount of money to produce these statues, or that just they have some connection between them. Like whoever is doing the licensing at Hasbro has to have gotten in good with one of the someone from Dubai. I have to make that assumption. It's got to be something, right? Because Hasbro could not have possibly signed off on this. unless they were getting paid an enormous amount of money to look the other way, there is no way they could look at that sound wave and go, yeah, that's approvable. With how many mistakes and how many incorrect details there are to that statue for its price, it's absurd. It's absurd, right? And by the way, this feels very fly-by-night. This feels very much like this website won't exist in a couple months. So do not order this, even if you, even for some ungodly reason you actually like the aesthetic and you have just an obscene amount of money. Still, do not buy into this, because guess what? They're probably never actually going to get made. But that said, I'm going to wrap it up here. This is the most absurd scam product I've ever seen in Transformers. And it takes a lot for me to say that, because I've seen a lot. But yeah, let's not support this kind of nonsense. Let's point and laugh at how bad it is. Because, hey, a lot of people started looking at this channel because I was pointing at the bad Transformers stuff and laughing. So I get to do a little bit of it today. So, there we go. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.